Hey there everybody, Joe here. Thanks for tuning in again. So a couple months ago, Ash commented on one of my videos and said, could you paint something from imagination that doesn't already exist, not using photo references? So basically, let's be real creative and try to invent some kind of a creature that is not like, you know, something that's already out there, something that's already made up, like that ugly old flying unicorn that I've got in the corner. That one still needs work. We're making something up. That sounds fun to me because I've been doing all of this research on anatomy and color and light. You know, I'm starting to really feel the need to just be creative and not restrict myself to such exact standards. You know, when you're painting people, there's guidelines that make something look natural or unnatural. Well, that's something that's fun about painting mountains, trees, rocks. They still have standards, guidelines, but they're not quite as strict as like human anatomy, something that we're more tuned to the imperfections of. And, you know, it's fun to just make up some creature using my knowledge of anatomy and trying to piece together the same principles to make something out of my imagination. There are guidelines that I'll use to make it believable, yet I'm able to relax more because I'm inventing the standards, you know, sort of. I want this to look like a creature that could walk this earth. I've already started on here, and I'm using this white chalk marker. Chocola is the company that sent these to me. This is not a sponsored video, and they certainly don't sponsor me, but if you do send me free stuff and you're willing to wait an indefinite amount of time, I might one day use it in a video. This was sent to me probably more than a year or two ago. But nevertheless, I was really thankful. These are handy because I'm using it to do this sketch, and it's just chalk pigment. The paint is going to cover it just fine. You have to push on it for like a minute or two to get the chalk to come out of these tips. I think it's like many other brands of this kind of thing. Thanks to Chocola, I've got this fun tool to try out on this project. I want a real wild looking environment where walkable landscape is growing off of tree like structure, so it grows up from sea level and then there's islands in the tree branches, and I want them to look like they're real big. They're just huge, you know, and they're going up, so I'm going to put atmosphere up in here. Maybe a creature that could climb through this environment. Big, kind of a dragonish creature, but gentle, like gentle, lazy, strong kind of a creature, like a big sloth. Okay, I was kind of thinking that these would be edges of a big piece of ground that are in perspective. This is one kind of hanging out of this big tree thing, and then it comes down and attaches to this kind of a trunk right here. And then I'm going to put another one, you know, I don't know what's going to survive the entire creative process of this picture, but you know, I just got to put things in place so that I can decide whether or not to keep them. So I'm thinking tree, you know, right now it's like a tree. And this is going to bend up like this, because I just decided that kind of a curve would be cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that concept. And I think it'd be cool if there were big spikes coming off of these. I like that. That just kind of adds a feel to it, you know, just something that's like, what in the world is that? Just feels kind of random, but not so random that it's like no idea what in the world that is. And they're big thorns. It's a big spiky tree. Shrubberies growing on the top of them. A little bit of flat ground back there, and then, you know, it's got these tree trunk looking things that come down. And since I feel like the natural expectation with this kind of a thing, with tree trunks coming down, is to go into some kind of a foresty undergrowth. So that's what I'm not going to do, because I just have a love for the unexpected. So what I'm going to do is just make open ocean beneath this, because all the ground is above the sea level. So I'm going to put the horizon here, and I'm putting the horizon down low because I want this to be a picture that is looking upward. When viewers are looking at this, I want it to feel like you're little and looking up at this. And by putting the horizon low, you center the picture so that it looks like an upward angle. If the horizon is right in the middle, then it'll look like you're just looking straight out across the ocean, right? Because your eyes are straight and there's an equal amount of space above the horizon as there is below it in your field of view. So then if I take that horizon and put it down, that means that I turn my head up. All right, now we've got kind of, you know what these remind me of are those Serengeti trees. A real beneficial process in trying to be creative is being creative yet based on something that I've seen before, because who doesn't relate things to what they've seen before? I mean, what has ever been invented that wasn't invented because it was inspired by some other idea? No idea is completely original. So for me, there's no shame in using something else as a model or a source of inspiration. All right, we're making spikes. Oh, that's kind of fun, you know, a spike that's not round. I like that idea. And I think it would also be cool if there was a lot of kind of, I've been big on translucency lately, so I think I'm gonna put, you know, a lot of objects in this picture that are kind of see-through, put light striking through. And this will be cool for some dramatic lighting coming down in between these tree islands. I think many people have real creative, unique creative ideas, the ability to be creative, but it can be a challenge having freedom to not immediately shoot down your creative idea and say, oh, that's ridiculous. My creative idea is something embarrassing and stupid and awkward. It's natural to feel that immediately. So I think one of the keys to being creative is being shameless about your creativity. Creativity, you know, that's a cool thing. I mean, that's like one of God's great gifts to people is creativity, to experience. The desire to create, you know, is just to me, just awesome thing. It makes me feel closer to God in a way, I think, when I'm being creative, because I think of Him as the ultimate creative force. See, in here I'm thinking that this shape is just going to be wrapped with all of these root-looking things. I find trees especially fascinating, just such beautiful things. You know, think about it this way. If you turn a tree sideways, you have the roots flare out this way. You know, we're imagining it sideways. And then the leaves flare out this way. This side of the tree reaches into the atmosphere and pulls resources from that atmosphere to send to this side. And this side pulls resources from that atmosphere and sends them to this side. And the tree is this constant transition between atmospheres, between the earth and the air, or if it's underwater, water. And that's a fascinating thing to me. And then the immediate beauty, how it's pleasing to my eyes to look at, like a fractal, how it flares out, you know, just exploding in an effort to become part of that atmosphere, like reaching into, I don't know, they just, it's a feeling. They're just amazing things. I love trees, the way they sway when the wind blows, to smell the blossoms while you listen to the leaves, while you see them blowing. That's an inconceivable experience until you actually experience it. I'm going to put something enjoying the shade of this overhang here. Put something under here so it better watch its head. And then down here, I want to put some kind of a large creature kind of maybe sprawled out under this. And I feel like it'd be cool to have a flat kind of a head, kind of using a basic skull structure, eyes right here, and then a snout of some sort. I feel like a flat kind of head might feel like it belongs in here because squeezing under and in between things might be cool. I do want to have some degree of danger to this, you know. I want this creature to look like something that, even though it doesn't look like it's in attack mode, it looks maybe like something that you wouldn't want to get there. So animals that, have more leverage, real big jaws with more leverage. They hunting animals that bite real hard. So I can kind of use that knowledge to decide what I want this to look like it's good at. By really bringing this jaw back like this, it looks like it can really get a good chomp, Even if I didn't make that line go back, still just by making this large part under the eye here, that's the jaw muscle area. I always enjoy the challenge of making the unbelievable seem believable. Like unnatural colors, something brighter than what you would normally see on a creature. So let's just start with hot pink, something that's not typically a skin tone. I think it'll be fun. I've never painted a bright pink colored skin, and I think I'm going to combine the natural opposite of this pink. I guess that would be green, but I'm not going to go full opposite. I'm going to go light blue. I'm going to do a blue color just because I think it'll look neat. Nothing too scientific here. I just think that will look cool. So let me start just by making a really pink head. A Gila monster can get pretty pink. I'm going to put markings on this thing too. Like just decorative stripes. I'm going to do a lot of experimentation here on what colors to put where. And grab a little of my white and kind of define this. I want them to look all sleepy still. That looks cool. Well, I'm going to stop right there. And as you can see, there's more of the mural painted behind me. That is going to be on next week's video. So if you like these videos, then definitely hit that subscribe button and tune in next week. Trina, who is just a great supporter and follower online, got a hold of me and said, I'm coming through Flagstaff. She asked if she could see any work in person. I said, come on over to the studio. She started asking questions about brushwork, which is also a common question in the comments. And I said, hey, do you want to be on YouTube? So she said, sure. I have the feeling that is going to offer a lot of insight to things that I don't even think to answer when I'm working by myself. So I hope you tune in next week and enjoy that video that we're working on. Also, I want to say thank you to those of you who have been posting your work online, sharing your projects for others to see, giving the Mural Joe name a shout out. That is a huge thrill for me to see. If you'd like to join the fun, post something you're working on at Mural Joe and help us make these videos even more fun than they already are by including some of your work as well. Right now I'm looking at comments on last week's video, A Week with Mural Joe. Jay's Eye with the Brush says, man, I needed some inspiration today and some encouragement, and well, I found it here. Thanks, Joe. All right, we're off to a good start. Shout out to Todd. You are the man for supporting struggling artists. I'm learning a lot from Joe and hope I continue to do so. Peace. So Todd is my best friend, and I had mentioned how he is a huge reason that I have these videos on YouTube today. And so you can see more about that if you go back and watch that video if you didn't see it already. But yeah, definitely Todd deserves that credit for sure. Batman and Bucky says, hi Joe, your videos have really helped me understand colors and look for the hidden treasures, patterns in nature. Could you do a video on painting lava and volcanoes? Also, how do you price work done on canvas? I've had a few requests, but I've never sold my projects. Thank you for your help. And start with how to price your work on canvas. Decide how bad you want to sell it, price it at something high, and if you don't care that you're not selling it, leave the price high. But if you really want to sell it, start dropping your price. That's the best advice I can give. Supply and demand. I think it's a pretty old-fashioned concept. I think there's a lot of people that know a lot more than I do. Sometimes it can be encouraging just to move your work, and so you drop the price way down to whatever somebody is willing to pay for it. Other times, you might feel that you're cheapening your image if you let the price go down too low. So it's totally up to you to decide, and I'm no expert, but that's my best advice. As for volcanoes and lava, you can just do a dark red halo around every little crack or every little area that has the bright red lava in it. That's the way I would handle it. It's just a common trick to make things look like they're glowing, is to have a washed out light version of the color and then your saturated darker color that's just a halo around it. and then that needs to be on top of something that's even darker still so that it looks like a glow. So I'd make sure that I had a lot of nice dark blackish background. Eunice is asking about understanding color theory better, an understanding that transfers from digital to painting on canvas or whatever you're doing. And I'm all about that. I am all about trying to understand color as a physical property of our environment rather than just as an aspect of one area of artwork. So I recommend watching the videos that I already have out on color theory. Just go through the playlist so that you have a starting point. And it helps if you leave comments about what's not clear, because I do want this to be very public and available information, because it's just been tremendously helpful to me to understand the way color works in both light and non-light mediums, and to know the differences between the different mediums like light versus paint versus printing, where it's layering it systematically. Color is happening for the same reason in all of them, because light is shining, right? It just reacts differently in those different things. And so it's something that I definitely want to put a lot more material out, more comprehensive things. I'm working on it. So thank you for reminding me. Mona says, oh, lucky kids, and you. Big thanks to Todd, too. Yeah, big thanks to Todd for sure. Another shout out to Todd. As far as the kids, I'm the lucky one, really. To have the opportunity to be remembered in this way, to have this kind of an influence in somebody's life. I mean, that's a treasure. It's the kind of treasure that I think we all live for and want, is to be seen in the best light that we can be seen in, you know. And I couldn't ask for better than to have the opportunity to share what I've discovered in order to try to help others as much as possible. So I'm the lucky one. Christine G58, life is good, says a very nice compliment. Thank you very much, Christine G58, life is good. Henrik Brun says, wish I could persuade you to trying a slow drying acrylic paint called Golden Open Acrylic, because I guess you could show how to master the Golden Open and nobody else shows how to actually paint with it, only tests. I didn't know that slow drying acrylic medium existed, so maybe I should try that. Thanks for pointing that out to me. Hey Joe, thanks for introducing me to the idea of murals. I ended up painting one to propose to my girlfriend, and she said yes. Thanks for helping make my proposal something really special for the both of us. Wow, that's cool. I don't deserve credit. Okay, I don't deserve credit for your proposal. That's on you for thinking to paint a mural for your proposal, but good job, and thanks for sharing. That makes my day to hear that. Nicholas says, my girlfriend and I have started a small business here in Milton, Florida, doing artwork. Could you do a video on painting a portrait? I would like to see the method to your madness. LOL, thanks homie. Yes, we have learned a good deal from your videos. You are definitely appreciated. Hey, thanks a lot, Nicholas. I appreciate you leaving that comment. That makes me feel very good. You know what? I'll try to do that. I'll see if I can get a video up about how I would paint a portrait. But for now, how to draw faces is something that I can tell you right now would be my approach. The same thing. I approach painting very much like I approach drawing, just using my developed mechanical skills with a brush to fill in the shading and colors. But the same concepts for sure. I'm still looking for the shapes, the boundaries to put those in. I think that that's a really good start with that. But I understand it's different when you're talking paint. So I'll see if I can get to that. Thank you, Don, for the very nice compliment. Mad Dog says, it's important artists stand up, stretch, exercise, sit with proper posture. After years of bad, droopy head, forward posture, I developed a C6, C7 bulge and several discs with bone spurs and a pinched nerve causing the loss of my right arm. Now I must learn to live life as a lefty. I hate it. I drop and break everything. Try to wipe your booty left-handed. You'll see what I mean. I'm sorry for laughing. It's just funny when you say try to wipe your booty left-handed. But thank you for the sober warning. I do think that's important. Good posture, good exercise, point taken, definitely important. Actually, you can see a video that I made, how to save your neck while painting ceilings. I've got a way that I tie a towel, tie myself into a full Nelson so it holds my neck. Man, it's a lifesaver. I'm going to have to use that strategy. And I am a big believer in the helpfulness of being in shape. You know, painting my murals, my energy level is higher. I like to run. I'm no great athlete or anything, but the exercise definitely helps to keep my mood up, my energy level up, and I think has influenced my progress as a muralist. So I agree. Those things are very important. On that note, I'm going to call it a day and look forward to seeing you next week. Listen, I would really like some help with my logo. So I was realizing, hey, I should make like some t-shirts or something. But before I go that route, I want to get the logo ironed out. So I'm going to put a link up. I want you to look at the picture real well of the logo as it is. I don't love it, but what I want to keep is the RGB, the red, green, blue, because that's very important to me. It represents so much of what I've discovered to be super helpful in my work of being able to tie the understanding of light mixing to paint mixing. So I really want that RGB. It represents a monitor screen pixel, a TV computer screen pixel, the red, green, blue bars, and so I tried to turn it into an M. I've been told that they look like planks of wood, not so much like paintbrush strokes. That was my goal. If you have any ideas, I would love for you to submit anything. Just post it on the Facebook page, and it would be most helpful to me to be able to see what other ideas the talented bunch of you out there might be able to come up with. Even if all you have to say is to just make fun of what I have, that might still give me some good insight. So knock yourself out, look at the logo, and tear it apart. I really appreciate you tuning in. It's always a joy for me to show off. So I'll look forward to seeing you next week.